Milan FinTech Summit 2024, Allianz MiCo, Milan, 2 days of work to talk about the future of FinTech and the innovation in the financial and banking services. In this moment, we are together with Matteo Rizzi, who is entrepreneur, investor, and author in the FinTech world, we can say. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Matteo. It's a pleasure.
So, Matteo, with you, we want to talk about the difference between Italy and Europe and Africa, for example, in terms of fintech ecosystem. So, what are your experiences also to by moderating yesterday panels and also today, and under your point of view, how the Italian ecosystem is evolving in respect of the other countries and regions?
So, Matteo, to make a long story short, in the next 8 weeks, I'm going to Brazil for a conference in Belo Horizonte. Then I'm going to Beijing for a conference with Cybos, Swift, my former employer. And I'm going to Singapore for the Singapore FinTech Festival. So Milan is exactly in the middle. The vibe is always great in the sense that clearly FinTech became mainstream. The vibe in Milan is actually always very good. What I like particularly is the fact that it is really a family that grew bigger, in the past decade, more or less. And, new faces, every year are joining. But also now I believe Italy is also kind of in the agenda of many international investors. We got unicorns. So it's not like we are the child that has to grow, right? Not anymore, at least. And in terms of the organization of the conference, amazing. Yesterday we had this embedded finance panel with Solaris, with Swan, with Fabric. And, Swan is a good example. They raise good money. They open up a branch here in Italy. Means that, we have a French company opening up in Italy. Solaris, one of the great poster child of digital banking in Europe. So it's great. Happy to be here.
So there is a maturity of the market, a maturity of the ecosystem in Italy. We yesterday talked about embedded finance, but also AI, but also, for example, inclusivity and diversity and inclusion. We have more women this year in respect of last year. So according to you, what could be the challenges that the market is facing now, for example, in terms of embedded finance or in the other sides we mentioned?
I like to talk about opportunities in the sense that embedded finance, as we talked yesterday in the panel, is also an opportunity to include financially excluded people simply because they have a mobile. And I work a lot with Africa, and if you take Africa as an example, there are a lot of entry points in the fintech space, such as mobility startups or biotech startups or non-financial services companies that are using their platform to include financially the population. Let me give you an example. Imagine you have a bus card or a card to get to use a public transportation.
Okay.
That card can become a mean of payments as long as the startup get a license from the central bank. And all of a sudden, you have a country like Rwanda, for example, where the startup that is enabling digital payment in buses, they have 1 million card, and there are only 300,000 bank accounts. So it's the typical example where embedded finance can potentially enable instantly almost the whole city to get financially included.
You've mentioned Africa, Rwanda. In last 10 years, we talked about China and Asia. Now we are looking more at the Africa countries. What is the next steps according to you? The next trend? Africa could be the next way to make growing fintech in general sense, or there are other trends that you can see?
So Africa, in general, emerging markets is where the growth in the world will come. Simply because today is much easier to include the couple of billion people that are yet financially excluded into a population that can use financial services and make transactions. And the secret is, I mean, the story is very simple. As long as someone is financially included, you get data. And when you get data, you can give them loans. If you give them loans, the business grow. It's very simple. So in my opinion, Africa is already a place where huge opportunities are, and they are the youngest continent in the world. And I also believe that Africa will play a tremendous role on the talent need. Because when you think of how many people will need to be digitally upskilled in the next 10 years, we're talking about 10% of the world population, Matteo. 10% of the world population will need to get digitally upskilled. And the top of that pyramid are the coders, the data scientists, the full stack developers, and a lot of these guys will come from Africa. I'm telling you now.
But about when you have data, you need to have also then the AI impacts and about the skills and the professionals you mentioned now. These are all roles for AI improvement, we can say. But what is the real role of the AI in fintech today, according to you, and maybe also in embedded finance, for example?
So the AI has implication in a pervasive way in almost every single business you can think of. You know, profiling of the clients, digital assets, trading, credit scoring. So it's it's going to be, as I said, a technology almost transparent. The only thing we will see is a service that is way faster and much more personalized, and we won't even know that it's powered by AI. So it's the challenge, and I think we're going to talk about it in a panel right now. Is I want to talk about the dark side of AI. So everything that people don't see, everything that sort of can become a danger, all the deep fakes, for example. So, and I think that the panelists we are going to have, over there, are going to be able to make a super interesting discussion.
Yeah, we hope, and good luck for the panel and the moderation, and thank you for being with us and for your spotlight on this.
Thank you, Matt. See you soon.
See you soon.